guys, Quiza here. Welcome to my channel. So I'm here in, let's say, gaming corner in Alberta, when you can have all those gacha machines. And I want to bring some content today regarding Valkyrie and her build for PvE to do Museum Legend, Little Lost Island Legend, and the new instance too, which is called Pineapple Secret Helm. Yeah, the super tanky dragon. So, as you guys may already know, Valkyrie is a hero class, and each hero class have their core passive. As you can see, Valkyrie's core passive increases her damage every time she spends feathers, and at level 4, it also gives to Valkyrie immunity to physical damage and magical damage for 2 seconds after she spends a feather. And the best part and what makes you really want to level this to core 7, to level 7, is that whenever you hit, you deal damage with Valkyrie, it reduces the cooldown of Valkyrie by 1 second. So, what's Valkyrie, right? Valkyrie is Rathgricy main self buff skill, and this is a very strong buff, which have a very long cooldown. As you can see, 75 seconds and lasts for 30 seconds. So you will need to have the core passive to keep this buff up all the time, right? So, and Valkyrie changes Rathgricy raised to Angel, which is very good. Her skill damage bonus and skill damage reduction is increased by 30%. She has injury when she's in Valkyrie, and she also heals 5% of the damage dealt by her. So as you can see, it's a super strong skill. But let's jump into it later. Jump into the other skills later. Let's check now about the runes, because we will be willing to level those up, right? So you want to have all those with the second line leveled, but for PvE, mostly this is the one that you are aiming for at max level. Not even having the second line, but a good value on the first line. And here is other thing that's important for you to look at. If you have a good first line, you need to aim on having over 200 move speed. I would say just always go over 200 move speed with Valkyrie, because 10% damage is already a lot. Like, this increases a lot Valkyrie main DPS skill. Also, a good skill to increase Valkyrie damage depending on your status is the Golden Flame. This will reduce the boss damage reduction, which will allow you to deal more damage. Okay, so yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Valkyrie. So as you guys can see, one of the things that make Valkyrie tankier is the skill Justice Aura, which can make Valkyrie avoid 50% of the damage that she would take. But for this to work, you need to wear an offhand that is a shield. So what is a shield offhand? How you can get to know if it's a shield or not? So as you can see, now offhands have this second line, like type ancient shield. So this means it's a shield and it's an ancient gear. So it's a good gear for Valkyrie, right? And the other thing that makes Valkyrie survive battles are the Divine Wing Armor. So this skill blocks fatal damage from Valkyrie, spending 1 feather. So whenever you have feathers, you will not die, right? So this is why this skill is so good. It works almost like an HP block for Valkyrie, but yeah, will help you a lot to clear the weaklings. Besides that, Valkyrie has this skill which can convert your damage to Holy. So most of the time you have this activated if you're not willing to use converters or not hitting a Holy monster. And whenever Valkyrie is dealing DPS, she always also increases her Holy damage, her Holy attack by 10%, and also she has abnormal stats resist, so you get less CC. So this is a very strong skill. Okay, so let's jump into what makes Valkyrie deals damage, right? So this is Blade Order. This is the skill that I mentioned previously in the runes. That is her main damage skill. As you guys can see, it deals damage based on her physical attack and magical attack. So it's good to have both high values here. And also, as you deal damage, it can reduce your target 10 physical deaths by 10% and stacking for 5 seconds. So this will help you to bypass bosses damage reduction, right? And at last, another important skill, it's spirit summoning. So this skill increase a lot your damage, and you'll have damage all around yourself. This can like clear the small dragons that are around the Dragon Front Museum, first floor. So this is a very good skill. It will also increase your damage from Blade of Order. So, but be careful with this skill because this spend all your feathers, and as I mentioned previously, you need your feathers to have your fake HP block enabled, right? Okay, so what do we need to get feathers? So as a Valkyrie, you can see the amount of feathers that you have here on those 4 yellow counts on my chart are the number of feathers, and you get those feathers by walking. So whenever you walk like 20 meters, if I'm not mistaken, you get a feather. And the other way that you can get a feather is to get your weapon on tier 5. So you get a feather every 8 seconds, which will help you a lot to survive and use the spirit summoning skill to deal more damage without dying. Okay, so let's check the gears for Valkyrie. So what I'm using is mostly gears that deals additional damage to MVPs and that also gives some move speed, because I always want to have like 200 move speed with Valkyrie, so I can take advantage of maximizing my main DPS skill. And I have a bunch of morals here, as you guys can see, so this allows me to go easier with some stuff, and this is why I'm using this armor instead of the Ignore Death with penetration armor. So this is it. And also there are the Shadow Gears. I'm using this one because it gives magical attack even though I don't have Ignore Death on this build and I don't have an offhand for physical class yet. But also here you can see the other options I have. So for my Valkyrie in the future, I plan on make a shadow offhand. Let me show an option for that. So I think that the best option for Valkyrie PVE is this one. It gives a lot of magical attack and attack. And also it at plus 15 is increase your damage, which will be very good. However, the tier 5 of this doesn't seem to help much. If you want to play with other classes besides Valkyrie, you can choose Hosa Chain as Shadow Gear if you are lacking Ignore Death, because sometimes it's too hard, right, to get 200 Ignore Deaths for Legends instance, or if already went through and have the 200 Ignore Death, I would say to go for a Skeleton Bracer because you can use for other physical classes, and I really like the tier 5 skill for this one. Um, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of ignore magical death and stuff, but this is mainly because I almost always play and talk about magical classes, but I like it so much of Valkyrie that I had to build it. I think like her skills look so good, like the animations and everything. Um, yeah, look at this. So good. Okay, so when choosing your gears, remember about the move speed. And there's some things that can switch around. So there are also bags that increase your move speed, like uh, the bag from TTL, which is an interesting option. And for headwear, you can always also wear Norma if you need more move speed. Flute play star for boots. Um, but I know that maybe it's not enough to get the 200 uh, move speed all the time. As you can see, I'm here with 162 with no buffs and stuff. So I switched to my house because I want to show you other ways to get more move speed with Valkyrie. And one of the ways to get more move speed is by dealing damage. So every time you attack, you can get 5% more move speed for 10 seconds, and this can stack up to 4 times, right? So let me just show it here. I have 172 move speed. After I do some attacks to the dummy, I have 192, right? Okay, so this is already a lot, like is enough, because also other classes can buff you. So it's good to know that when we are running weeklies, most of the times there is a priest in the party, or at least we want to have a priest in the party, right? So, and in Prepare for Elite, like all the priests have Blessing, and when they use Blessing, they give increased agility. So this will give you 30% extra move speed. So you'll be closer to the value of 200 move speed that we want to have to increase to the maximum our Valkyrie damage. So, okay, so after the priest buff, let's assume you have the same move speed that I have here. And like stack it because I will be hitting the boss and the value go up very fast with the weapon, you know. Okay, so I'm missing a bit more than 8% move speed, right? And I don't want to change my gears here. I don't want to add move speed for here because this deals too much damage compared to normal. So for me, the best alternative is to use some of these foods. Each of these foods gives like 3.5 move speed, so I would need to have 3 of those. Yeah. Assuming I don't have a priest in my party, you know. And when you guys see here, I already have 202 move speed, so my feathers are dealing more damage. Right? So other things to mention is that for legend instance, it's required to have a huge amount of penetration. So you want to have 80% penetration on your build. You need to worry about this on your build and also ensuring these values before jumping to put damage against MEVP, for instance. And For skill damage, I have already almost enough, need 50%, but if I cast Valkyrie, I'll get 30% extra skill damage. So this is more than enough for doing legends. My damage already will be good. So for Ignore Death, I have 196, which is almost good enough for legends, but I'm not worried about this additional 4%, actually 3.5%. And I guess this is the most important thing, right, to mention, because also all these cures are only 15% once I'm mostly coming from magic class. So there's one last way to get move speed for a Valkyrie. I'll be showing this on the King Pairing. There's a new card. I had estimated how much that improves Valkyrie damage. I would say that the only reason for making that card is if you are lacking move speed. I tested removing headwords from the book, you know, the 1% deposits and stuff. And that card is the new one that was released with Valkyrie, which is this one. So this card is an armor card. It increases your move speed by 5%, so it can help you a lot to reach the 200 move speed. And whenever you have 750 HP, this will increase by 15% your attack. And whenever you have 1000, yeah, 1000 and 5300k, it will increase your magical attack by 15%. So I have tested, and 10% damage against MVPs from hard card was better for me than 15% deposit, and also the no-go card that gives 10% physical damage performed for me better than having additional 15% deposit. So okay, let's jump into the instances. Yeah, I'm inside Lost Islands Legendary. So what I do for doing legends, so I'll have 3 of this food once I don't have a priest with me right now. And once I already have enough penetration, I will be using this one, like more 3 stacks of this one. And I will also be using my meal peas to increase my damage. Right? Okay, so Valkyrie wears a sword, which means that you need to fix her damage, because otherwise you'll only deal 75% of her damage, and that's not what we want. So I will use here the Hellgreen alloy to fix my damage. And even though this takes more damage from water, I'll do with Holly because I don't like to spend consumables. So yeah. First of all, I will turn on my HP block shoot, fake HP block shoot, and turn my attack to Holly. And now I use my Prepare for Elite that has command of charge and Valkyrie. I would recommend you to always use Valkyrie on the Prepare for Elite because it has a very long animation, you know, so it will take too long. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to clear the golem even without using a water converter. I prefer the holy one because it gives a lot of magical attack and attack percentage and give me other stuff, and I don't like consumables. So let's see how it be against the Sea Totem Spirit. I use Valk, the burst skill, because I know like this doesn't have burst at the beginning. I can use the feather, the head feather, to reduce the boss damage, and now just like dodge the skill, and yeah, it's very easy for Valk, you know, don't have to struggle. So now I have the last floor. I'm not getting rewards from this because I already have cleared them with my guilds when the server had reset. I always do with guilds on server reset. I'm always like anxious for Monday morning and see if I will get anything good. So here I'll just like wait a little bit for my Valkyrie. As you see, I used the buff when the other MVP was just like about to die. So I I didn't have uh, I didn't have the time to reduce its cooldown. So I'm doing holy damage here too. And let's go. This is also supposed to don't be that hard, you know. Let me walk so I can get my feathers before the explosion. Okay, let's have a squid. And now I get the corrupted warp. Uh, the buffs from Valkyrie last for a long time, but always be careful. So you always have those because they are a very big change for her DPS. So you want to have the buffs always up. But yeah, this is also not that hard, as you can see. Yeah, it was on the first try. So now let's jump into the museum and see how that goes. Yeah, so I'm a museum after just finishing the last island. As you guys can see, I still have the same consumables that we had there. I will not need to spend another of those Hogring, uh, those alloys to fix my damage against size. So here I will basically do the same, convert my damage to Holly, here's the passage put, and kill the dragon. Ensure you're walking to get bad feathers from the skills that would hit you, like the ones that would kill you, and it's it, you know? Don't need to worry. Yeah. Um, the only downside from Valkyrie compared to Genos, I guess, here on the first floor to the second one is because all these mobs are holy, so I'll just do auto attack and skip for next floor. Okay, guys, just have completed the floors, the intermediate floor between first floor and second floor of Museum Island. I just now noticed that I didn't even turn on my immortality skill for the first floor, and let me turn it on for this one because we will need that. Okay, so we have the buffs, and let's go. So as you guys can see, the damage is pretty good from Valkyrie on this floor too. It's always good to move around a bit so you can stack those feathers. I like to use this ultimate skill when I'm doing this instance because it makes so faster, you know, even though there's dangers on using it because you lose your HP block with the 4 feather stacks, you know. So yeah, but you see that like there's not even reason to fear hooky with this. You guys may have noticed that I'm using Valk a lot, and that always this skill is outside of cooldown before I run out of it. This is due to the passive. I don't have anything for CGR or whatever, and it's all going smoothly. So let's say about the other important weeklies that I'm not able to do alone. So first, let's talk about Museum, third floor. So as you guys know, Museum third floor is a very hard instance, the hardest that we have so far. And we have some issues playing Valkyrie there, but mostly because of Nuka. So Nuka has Light Shield on him all the time, which blocks Valkyrie main DPS skill. So even though you do more damage to him because she's Holly, her main damage is almost always Holly, she is not able to drop Nuka easy. You would like take forever to kill a Nuka with Valkyrie because you need to rely on the head feather. So this makes Valkyrie not being like the best one for third floor. Also, Pokarani is Holly, so your damage to Pokarani would be way lower than you would like compared to other bosses. However, you just don't convert your attack and hit her with normal and you're good, but it's not we would like to have, right? So, okay, it's possible, but not the best option. I would say Genos is still better for me to do third floor. The last instance, I'm not doing this. I already done this in the morning. I'm not doing this right now because it stays too long. But the dragon, the ancient fantastic dragon, you can solo it. You, even though your damage is low or you're not maxed out, it's possible to solo it. You just need like to avoid using the spirit summoning because as long as you have feathers, you'll not die for those AoE skills, so you can do the mechanics. You just take your time and anyone can solo. Just like keep walking around, keep your feathers stacked and dealing damage. That you'll be fine. Uh, Overall, I'm really happy with Valkyrie. I hope you guys appreciate it. If you like this video and you would like to me keep bringing other content for PvE or for GVG, um, please like the video and make a comment on what class you would like to see or what content you would like to see. Um, yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. See ya.